Well, Ghostbusters is opened up this weekend. Of course, we did our review of it last week. Just to kind of give you a little bit of summary, I thought it was all right. I mean, in a thumbs up or thumbs down world, I marginally give it a thumbs up. I mean, I didn't like the first two acts of the film, but the third act of the film kind of salvaged it a bit. And it is what it is. I think the franchise should be done now. But listen, it just had its opening weekend, and it did pretty well. This comes to us from the folks at Box Office Pro, who wrote the following. As Dougie Fresh once said, the Ghostbusters are back and all brand new. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the fourth film in the IP's legacy timeline and fifth film overall, has taken in a projected $45.2 million in its opening frame, just slightly above Ghostbusters Afterlife's debut, which is roughly about the same amount of money, to place number one for the weekend. This was at the highest end of our predictions. It was also enough for the franchise to cross the $1 billion mark globally. So the franchise, 5 films, has now crossed the $1 billion mark globally. By the way, side note, as an overall thing about the status of the box office, stuff like that, this is the third movie in March to open with over $45 million. Obviously, Dune Part 2 opened in March, with well north of 45. Kung Fu Panda 2, or 4, I should say, opened up north of 45. And by the way, this week, we've got Godzilla X Kong, which is projected to open to over 45. March could have with 4 films that open over
March
45
Madness, John.
Yeah.
March Madness.
Good for them. I mean, I know the Ghostbusters, the theaters needed this, but the Ghostbusters needed it too. Now, this is roughly about the same amount of money as Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife made like 44 point something. So it was within about $1 million. So roughly the same opening. And I'll admit, I'm a little bit surprised it opened this high because I did not feel the same amount of anticipation that Ghostbusters Afterlife had leading into it. Not that there was a huge amount of hype and excitement for Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I mean, I just felt there was more there than there was for this. I haven't felt a lot of enthusiasm from a lot of people. So for it to open to 45 is actually pretty impressive. I don't think it's going to have the same kind of legs that Afterlife did. I don't know how good the legs of it will be. I think it's generally enjoyable, but I didn't think it was as good as Afterlife. But I got to say, I think this is a pretty impressive number for them to open with. What did you think about the opening for the film? Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved the feel of them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I mean, they're keeping the price of these down. They're not spending exorbitant sums of money to make these movies, which I think is a good thing. I think they understand. I mean, I didn't like this movie as much as I liked Afterlife.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought it was fine. I mean, it's weird to me to see this franchise moving forward. I'm glad Paul Rudd's getting more work outside of Ant-Man. He's still relevant. And
he never hurts for work, though. I mean,
Paul
Rudd never hurts for work.
It's true. I think any movie that gets made, I'm happy that it makes money, especially at the studio level. I would like to have seen something a little bit more original, maybe a little bit more edgy when it comes to this movie. It seems like they're kind of repeating a trope that's now kind of a Ghostbusters trope.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new ancient evil.
A new ancient evil that's
threatening
a
the world.
large
Yeah.
apocalyptic threat that we need to take care of. And okay, I guess what do you do? It's a Ghostbusters movie. But it was fine. But I'm glad it made money, and I'm glad people like it. That's all you can ask for.
Do we know, Jonathan, what the budget on this? Does anybody know what the budget on this was? Because
I'll look that up.
it'd be interesting to know, because I did open mic yesterday, Rob, and somebody wrote in and
100.
How much?
100
million. So probably about 40 or 50 on marketing. So they don't need maybe 250, 300 to break even. Actually, less than 300, probably around 250 to break even. But somebody articulated something, one of our viewers yesterday in open mic, they hadn't really thought about, and they said, despite the fact that this movie takes place in New York, pardon me, it feels really small. Like they said, like 80% of the movie either takes place in the firehouse or in that offsite lab. And it feels just very small. And I thought, you know what? That's been something that's been itching in my brain. I've never been able to really put that into words, but it was true. It felt like a small film, despite the fact that it was in New York.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the first Ghostbusters feels big and expansive. They're shooting on real locations. They're outside a lot. You've got that great moment when all the ghosts get unleashed and you see the big exterior shots in New York and it's magic. I feel the same way. I thought this movie felt, but that's, I think, by design.
And here they face a problem. Actually, they face two problems. This movie faces two big Titan-sized problems. This week, Godzilla X Kong opens up.
Two Titans, you're right.
And it's not a tremendously dissimilar demographic they're going after. And despite the fact that it had, I think, a very impressive opening weekend with 45.2 million, I think we're seeing a greater than 60% drop next weekend because, number one, I don't think it's good enough to get a lot of repeat viewing, even though I generally like the film. I have no plans to go back to watch it again, and I don't think a lot of people have plans to watch a second time. And then even for a lot of people who haven't seen it yet, I think Godzilla X Kong's going to open, and they're going to be thinking, or we could watch the giant ape and the giant lizard fighting other giant things. And I think a lot of people are going to... So I'm thinking maybe a $15 million second weekend.
Ooh, that wouldn't be good.
Especially if they're projecting Godzilla X Kong anywhere from 45 to 55 to 60 million opening. And if it can do that, that's going to eat up a lot of the box office for them. So it could be in trouble. It may or may not actually get to break even. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? I'm actually very pleasantly surprised about how well Ghostbusters Frozen Empire did on its opening. $45.2 million is nothing to sneeze at. As good as the last film, and I didn't think it would. What kind of legs will it have, though? Will it get repeat viewings? Is it going to run into two Titan-sized problems with Godzilla X Kong? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Before we go into our last topic here, did you see that Euphoria Season 3 got delayed? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it was in the Hollywood Reporter today that Euphoria Season 3, they've delayed it and they've released all the cast to go and pursue other acting opportunities.
Oh.
Now, they're still saying they're still going to do it, but I wonder if it's ever going to happen, because when they started Euphoria, it was a show with a bunch of no names and Zendaya. Right?
Yeah.
Now you got to pay for Zendaya, who's way bigger now than she was when they started the show. Sydney Sweeney, who was a nobody and is now a superstar. How do you pronounce it? Like Jacob Elordi?
Yeah.
Is suddenly a name. So okay, that's great. You're delaying this now. Good luck on getting those three back together again with the way their schedules are going and with their cost. I wonder if this show's ever going to happen to... if it's ever going to get...
That's a good point. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.